Welcome to the Sleepy Storyteller, where soothing words and gentle tales guide you into deep, restful sleep. Here you'll find enchanting bedtime stories crafted to calm your mind, ease your worries, and carry you into a world of dreams. Whether it's a mythical legend, a cozy fireside tale, or a whispered lullaby of forgotten lands, each story is designed to help you unwind and drift off effortlessly. So settle in, close your eyes, and let the sleepy storyteller weave you a tale as soft as moonlight. Sweet dreams. The village of Eldermere was a quiet place, nestled between misty mountains and a silver lake that shimmered under the moon's watchful gaze. It was said that sleep came easily to those who lived there, as if the air itself carried a whisper of dreams. The cobbled streets wound gently between moss-covered cottages, their chimneys releasing wisps of fragrant wood smoke into the cool evening air. Ancient oak trees lined the paths, their gnarled roots weaving through the earth like forgotten stories. The scent of fresh bread and honey lingered near the village square, where a small fountain babbled softly under the stars. And at the heart of the village, on the highest hill, stood the cottage of Yara, the moon weaver. Her home was unlike any other in Eldermere. Built from pale stones that seemed to glow under the night sky, it had a roof of thick, weathered thatch and ivy creeping along its walls, entwining with the carved wooden beams. A small lantern hung above the arched doorway, casting a warm golden light onto the worn stone steps. Inside, the scent of dried herbs and beeswax candles filled the air, mingling with the faint metallic tang of her loom. Shelves lined with old books, vials of shimmering dust, and delicate wind chimes fashioned from seashells and silver moonstone adorned the space, their gentle tinkling adding to the air of quiet magic. Yara was an old woman with eyes like twilight and hands as delicate as falling leaves. Every night as the stars awoke, she would sit at her wooden loom, weaving threads of moonlight into gossamer strands. The villagers believed that these threads formed the fabric of dreams, drifting through the night like a silent lullaby, guiding their minds into peaceful slumber. One evening, a traveler arrived in Eldermere, weary and worn. His name was Elias, a man whose footsteps had traced the edges of distant lands, yet never found rest. His eyes bore the weight of 1,000 sleepless nights, haunted by memories that would not settle. He had heard the whispers of the moon weaver, of her gift to weave tranquility into the hearts of those who sought it. And so, as the last light of day faded, Elias climbed the hill to her cottage, drawn by the soft glow spilling from its windows. The path was lined with wildflowers that swayed gently in the evening breeze, their petals catching the moonlight like tiny mirrors reflecting the heavens. An owl hooted in the distance, and the cool night air carried the scent of damp earth and lavender. Yara was already at her loom when he arrived, her fingers dancing over the threads with quiet grace. Without looking up, she spoke, her voice as gentle as the night breeze. "You carry the burdens of many miles, traveler." Elias hesitated before nodding. "Sleep has been a stranger to me for longer than I can remember." Yara gestured to a wooden chair beside her. "Sit. Let the loom tell your story." He obeyed, sinking into the seat as she continued her work. The loom hummed softly, its rhythm steady and soothing. As Yara wove, the threads of moonlight took shape, forming images that shimmered in the air like echoes of memory. He saw himself as a child, laughing by a riverbank. He saw his mother's hands braiding his hair, the scent of lavender lingering in the warm summer air. He saw a love long lost, her face illuminated by lantern light, her smile fading into the distance. The loom wove on, unraveling the knots of grief and longing, binding them into something soft, something whole. Yara began to hum, an ancient lullaby lost to time, a song that seemed to know his sorrow and cradle it with tenderness. The melody carried the essence of forgotten dreams, of places Elias had once called home but had slipped through his fingers like grains of sand. His heartbeat slowed, his breathing deepened, and the tension that had gripped his body for so long began to melt away. His eyelids grew heavy, the loom's glow dimmed, fading into the quiet hush of night, and before he could whisper a word of thanks, Elias drifted into the deepest, most restful sleep he had ever known. In his dreams he walked through golden fields, his childhood home on the horizon, the faces of loved ones waiting for him with open arms. For the first time in years, he was at peace. As the village slumbered, Yara wove on, her fingers gliding over the loom, spinning silver dreams for all who needed them. Outside, the wind carried the notes of her lullaby through the valley, touching the hearts of those who, like Elias, had been lost in the restless tide of their own thoughts. The stars above shimmered in quiet reverence, and the moon shone brighter, as if blessing the village with its silent, watchful presence. And so, beneath the watchful gaze of the moon, Eldamir remained a place of peaceful rest, cradled in the threads of the moonweaver's lullaby. Thank you for listening to tonight's tale. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more dreamy bedtime stories. May your night be filled with peaceful slumber and soft silver dreams. Until next time, sleep well.